So who has the best Brahms Violin Concerto? Well, it's difficult to say. It's one of those pieces where even after practicing a lot, you have in your mind an ideal version, right? But all of that goes out the window as soon as you're on stage in front of the people. You're basically fighting for your survival just to get the notes right. It does require musicians who have the most experience and the most level of confidence to be able to actually explore the musicality of the piece. So today I'm super excited to review 4 of my colleagues' performances of the Brahms Violin Concerto, and we'll take a deep dive into each of their respective schools of playing to see which ones we like best. Let's begin. All right, so first up we have one of my favorite violinists of all time, David Oistrakh. Let's take a listen here. It's this build-up, you know, of anticipation. His playing, his confidence. He's not trying to be confident. He just is confident. He just takes no prisoners. You know, there is just this straightforwardness. Do you hear that? In the beginning, there's this dum da 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 dum that the orchestra and the solo violin have. This is a dialogue. Da da. Ta-da! And then each time they're just trying to one-up each other before it finally gets to this climactic high A here. Oh, it's amazing. This passage here is really tricky. At the same time, you have to drive the motion forward. Basically, you have to keep the tempo going, and you're creating these waves, literal waves of music. He is slightly ahead of it, but then he's not trying to be academically, I guess, on the beat. All right, wow. If you look at his left hand and the way he's vibrating, it is incredible. He's not moving any of his lower part after his wrist. It's just still. So he's got this beautiful sound here. Oh, all right, don't hurt me anymore, David Oistrakh and Brahms. That's so beautiful. And let's go to this third movement. It looks like he's starting not from the string. Actually, he puts it down and achieves this bite right there. That's what's causing that like ignition, the initial kind of like vroom. The second thing I want to point out, at the end of the note, he does not slow down the bow. A lot of violinists, they only think about the start of the note and the middle of the note. We also have the end of the note as well. So we have this quick whip at the end. It creates this sense of trust, I think. Like you trust in his confidence. Now, our second person is going to be Hilary Hahn. I've got this recording of her with the HR Symphony Orchestra. Okay, so you can immediately see very, very different style of playing. She's using very small amounts of bow, right? With Oistrakh, he takes like almost a whole bow for the second note. And then, but then again, versus Hilary, she's doing this very, I would say, focused, condensed sound that you actually don't get to hear much on the mics. So it's already interesting that we have very different interpretations, right? But what I want to also add in the mix here is another one of Hilary's performances, more recent, 2023. So the first one is from 2014, and we'll see the differences there as well. Okay, you can immediately hear the difference, right? There's more bite. There's more attack at the beginning of the notes. The other one was much smoother, and this one, she uses more bow. Yeah, definitely less restraint there than the first one. The first one is like... Now it's... much more of like this attack. I prefer 2023 Hilary. Like recent Hilary, this is where it's at. Yeah, this is really beautiful. She's squeezing out the sound. It's more, I think, direct is the word I would choose when I compare it to David Oistrakh. All right, so we've reached the halfway point when we've already got three, especially if you count the earlier and later Hilary as two different people, which I would, different interpretations. As somebody who is learning music or is even interested in music, it's always important to try different things. For me, I spent all my life just learning different interpretations, trying them for myself, and seeing which ones fit. And so that's always the advice that I give to young musicians who are just starting out or they're thinking about learning any piece for that matter. So the best way to do that is, of course, practice. And the second way is to get feedback. So feedback either from your teachers or from other people. Now, there is an easy way to do that, and it doesn't cost you anything, and it's called Tonic. So it's a music practice app that I created to help you be in touch with the greater music community. So musicians of all levels can come together, meet each other. You can open a practice room. People can come in, or you can go listen to others, be inspired by others who are also practicing the same piece, and then get to meet new friends along the way. And the best part about it, like I mentioned, it is free, so definitely go check it out. You can download it from the QR code on my screen or from the link in my description below. All right, so we have our next soloist coming up. He is Augustin Hadelich, and I love his playing. He's also the sweetest guy ever. We've done some live streams together. His sound, I was like captivated by how juicy it is. The way he achieves it, he's allowing it to ring. Unlike the previous two musicians that we heard, David Oistrakh, I think, is like, he's letting it ring, but it's like from an old recording, so it's harder to tell. Certainly with Hilary, it's more of a sustained thing. Here with Augustin, he immediately releases. Here. He's treating every single note as a separate, I guess a separate note is what I would call it. All right, let's continue a little bit along here. Interesting. Okay, so as I listened more, something came to mind. When it comes to the slow movement where there's more legato and the phrase has to be longer, it is a little bit individual note-y sounding. So as opposed to Oistrakh's, which in the beginning you'll notice he just pushes through, Augustin's direction is sort of within the roundness of every single note, and it's creating more individual shapes. Hilary's goes on, it's like almost like it's one note. It's almost like you see those three notes are glued together. Augustin's is more like... and then he'll like shine out again on a particular note. Now I want to listen to his third movement. Oh, wow. His is actually the most like bouncy, jovial kind of version that I've heard. Instead of Oistrakh's immediate attack, Augustin has versus a... That little swerve there is what I attribute to like, oh wow, there's this different style. Yeah, so he's not doing it for every single note, but he definitely does it in the beginning, and that is really cool to see. All right, and so last we have Janine Jansen. We spoke a lot about her from earlier. I think knowing Janine's playing, I'm already predicting that this one's gonna be, you know, her usual style. Very wild, juxtaposed next to her very like intimate, soulful style of playing. Let's see what happens. Wow, that's so unusual. It starts legato, and then it goes into, it's got the intensity. I actually want to skip over to the beautiful first melody here. Oh, wow. She's really aimed high there, so she could come down. So what I was saying before was that in this part, but then she does it so that she can like kind of like drift back down. To here. So she does this very beautifully. Whenever I hear of Janine's playing, it is always about the contrast. She wants to show us the most dimension, I think. All right, so I want to listen to Janine's second movement and check it out. Wow. It almost sounds like she's starting on an E string. I was like so excited for a second because I was like, oh, the first person who started on E string, you know, because not many people start this movement on an E string. But I think she did it with a first finger or a fourth finger. I couldn't really tell. Okay, so Augustin did this thing where he shone through on the high notes. And Janine uses tension to pull through those notes a little bit there. So listen to it again. Yeah, it's definitely more intense there. Again, like immediately after, it's just like the most relaxed, like the most intense, the most relaxed. It's all about contrast with her. Let's listen to the third movement. Well, so first of all, I loved what she did at the end, that she does this, she kind of like goes into it. Before it's like, and then she goes like, she does this like kind of sweep into it. That's really cool. You should listen to all of these recordings, whether or not you're learning it or just listening to it for enjoyment. Take your time with it. Explore. Don't, you know, fixate on one too soon. Just try them all and see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out other videos where I review and dive deep into, just like today, other concertos, go check out these other videos that I've made. Otherwise, I'll see you in your practice room on Tonic. All right, bye.